Did you call bank? I call game.
What's good, podcast world, and welcome back to another installment of Charge It to the Game Sports Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Rome. Fellas, what's up?
What's up? Good evening.
That's a good evening, good afternoon, wherever y'all listening from.
No doubt,
Appreciate you.
So, we back. So, as always, everybody, thanks for the massive support. We see that the YouTube page is on swole right now, getting a lot of new subscribers. Even a few comments. Kids saying, we see you, man. Hopping in a lot of the comments. Hopefully we can have you on the show at some point. But, continue to keep subscribing to all major platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Like I said, the YouTube page. Continue to show your support, and we will continue to keep bringing you this fire content. So, anyway, we got a nice show scheduled ahead for you today. So we're going to be talking today about the NFC North. We're going to get back to our divisional playoff talk so that way we can start wrapping up some things and talk about some topics that we want to talk about. So we're going to talk about the NFC North and as far as the NFL goes. And then for NBA, we're going to be talking about the Philadelphia 76ers. Me and Jay actually went to the game last night where the Sixers played the the Brooklyn Nets. In Philly. So we're going to chime in on that. And then we're just going to talk about, what's up with all these players sitting out due to rest, A lot of people are spending their hard-earned money going to games, and these guys are not playing. And then, as always, we'll close out with bets and let you guys go. So, I guess, fellas, as far as for NFL, let's kick this off with the Chicago Bears, man. So Chicago... they did make the playoffs. They put up a decent fight in the playoffs. I think they played the New Orleans Saints. Just wasn't quite enough. Some of their, free agency moves or so have you. Kyle Fuller, the cornerback, they did end up letting him walk, which is a huge loss. He was a really solid, hard-hitting corner. He went to the Denver Broncos. They did sign Allen Robinson back. Well, not signed him, but they franchise tagged him. They did bring in cornerback Desmond Trufant from the Lions, the divisional, person to help out. Mitch Trubisky, they let him go, starting quarterback. He moved on to Buffalo. Christian Jones, linebacker, they signed him also from the Detroit Lions, and etc. And then they did sign Andy Dalton at QB, to help him out, and Damian Williams at running back. So I guess. How you guys feeling about Chicago this season? I know that, like I said, they lost last year in the playoffs. Did make the playoffs. Just seems like they can't get their offense right.
Yeah, it's just beginning thing for them is quarterback. So moving on from the Trubisky debacle, and that
it sure was too.
That disastrous trade, passing on Mahomes and Watson.
Oh my God! In the same draft, that's just horrible.
To take Trubisky, and so quarterback wise, they signed Andy Dalton, so they are gonna try to move forward with the red rifle.
Is he that anymore though?
Well, yeah, I did see it in the limited action last year.
Right.
So we'll see how that goes. For them, it's offense. Defensively, they have been stout. Now, what do you think of the rumors of the trade for Russ? And Russ saying that Chicago was one of his teams he wanted to be. He was considering.
He's not going anywhere. He's definitely not going anywhere. Not at all. I don't think so at this point.
Yeah,
honestly.
Is that still a thing though? Or I know it was, talked about before, but
I don't know if it's a thing now.
Yeah, I just don't see Russ going to Chicago now. I think he's kind of settled in. AB still unsigned. I'm hearing a lot of talks about Russ really wanting to have AB on the team, or AB might be going to the Ravens. I don't know where AB's going right now. He's still unsigned, but I just don't see Russ going to Chicago. I mean, like I said, I mean, last season, Chicago, like their offense, right? I mean, they just could not put up points. They couldn't move the ball consistently. They had horrible quarterback play. They did win a few games and ultimately make the playoffs. They started off the season. What did they start? Mitch Trubisky. Then they brought in, was it Foles? He started for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I mean, they just it's like a quarterback carousel.
Yeah, that's the key for them. I mean, if they need to get the quarterback right, because I mean, if you look at the division between, I mean, you got the MVP and Rodgers, Cousins, who's
trash.
He's serviceable in comparison.
I'll give you that. You're right.
And then it's a new era with Jared Goff in Detroit. So.
What's so funny, man? What's so funny?
Goff is awesome.
This is the great Jared Goff. Big guy, stop playing with him.
The great who? Great and Jared don't play the same system.
He did go to a Super Bowl. You can't.
Yeah, come on now.
No. He got carried to a Super Bowl.
I'm just fucking with you. Nah, we all know what Jared Goff is, man. I mean, he's just a guy. He's a solid guy. You know what I mean? Behind center. You know, it could get worse. You know what I mean? It could be a lot worse. But like I said, I think for the Bears, their biggest thing is offense. If I don't know about Andy Dalton, man. I mean, Andy Dalton's an older guy. They did sign him on a 1-year deal. He's more of a stopgap quarterback until they find their solution. And one of the reasons why we talk about quarterback play so much is this is a quarterback-driven league. I mean, if your quarterback is not doing what he's supposed to do, if he's turning the ball over, if he can't get the guys lined up right, if he's not reading the field and scanning the field and making the right plays, you're not going to win. It doesn't matter how great your defense, and Chicago has proved that because they have a great one. They got Khalil Mack, Hicks, and, you know, they did let Fuller go. Eddie Jackson at safety. They got pieces, a lot of nice pieces. There are, you know, they can scare the shit out of you on the defensive side. But they just can't put up points. You know, they got Allen Robinson, they got Mooney at receiver, they got some guys. They just need a quarterback that can get them the ball consistently.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon. They're just good enough to win and just come out the selection the way they will possibly get a good quarterback. And that's how the Bears has always been. I hate to say it, I don't want to say I'm supporting it, but one season they may just have to tank. So,
yeah, Chicago. They I don't know. I mean, like I'm looking at some of the draft talk about Chicago. I think they're linking them to some cornerbacks. Possibly Caleb Farley. If I don't even know what Chicago picks. I think they might have they might not even. Caleb Farley might not even fall to them, or like a J.C. Horn. They do need a cornerback. They do need a quarterback ultimately, but I don't see nobody falling that far, especially in this draft class. You know. So I mean, their quarterback. You know, quarterbacks could, to me, is going to continue to be plaguing them for this season and the ongoing future. But I mean, we'll see. I mean, like I said, they got that solid defense, and if the offensive coordinator can maybe run some gimmick plays to get some stuff going, I mean, in that division, it's like you got Green Bay. The Lions are, I mean, they got Jared Goff.
How about some weapons on offense? I mean, they may take a receiver since Robinson's on the franchise tag, and they may lose him next year.
So in a receiver-loaded draft, yeah, I like it.
So I can see them trying that.
Yeah, I can see them trying that too. So
because their defense is strong. I mean, their defense is the strength of that team.
It is. I mean, like I said, I mean, I'm not a Chicago fan, but I'm not against Chicago. It's just like I said, in that division. I mean, you face Aaron Rodgers twice a year. You face him. And like I said, the Vikings and Lions are just kind of there, and we'll talk.
Well, I mean, Vikings throw the ball though, so
yeah.
Cousins, I mean, he'll throw a couple to the other team, but he will definitely attempt to. He can put points on the board too.
Yeah, you're right. Let's talk a little about the Vikings then, man. So the Vikings, they had a weird year, man. I mean, they were supposed to be a lot better than what they were. I'm guessing.
Yeah, Dalvin Cook is the key to them.
Yeah,
absolutely, right. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Dalvin Cook. Oh, go ahead, Z.
No, yeah, they paid him last year. They committed to him. So they're gonna be a run heavy team. He helps support Cousins, so Cousins doesn't have to be Superman, even though he's paid like Superman.
Right.
Yes, sir. He sure is. Hey, look. Hey, that's one thing that ain't lacking. This agent will never help him get that guaranteed money. That's what he's super at. That's what he makes it up.
And then free agency wise, I mean, they went heavy on the cornerback, signing Xavier Woods. Well, Xavier Woods is safety, and Peterson, a corner.
Yeah,
so,
they signed him, and then Mackenzie Alexander from the Bengals, who's a solid guy, veteran guy. They did bring in under the radar move. They did bring in interior lineman from the Giants and Delvin Tomlinson, who's a starter, young dude, to help out along that defensive front. I think they got a solid edge rusher, and then they got another elite defensive tackle, and then adding him, I think, helps them out a lot. Their biggest thing, I think, is, and then they got Harrison Smith on the back end to help them out at safety. Yeah. Their defense is kind of solid, and then they got one of the best, middle linebackers in the league, as well. So I think their biggest thing is just offense. Like you said, they just got to get away from running Dalvin Cook into the ground so much, man. Your guy emerged last season. I know you guys were talking about him last show, and you guys put him at top 5 receivers in the league, and Justin Jefferson. So I mean, he was huge for him. Then you got Thielen. Yeah,
you got Thielen too. Like, no, Cousins has weapons, including not to mention Dalvin Cook coming from the backfield. It's just that it's Cousins. Cousins will shoot you in the game, but one thing for sure, you are guaranteed some picks.
Yeah.
Mini Jameis Winston.
Yeah, there we go. That's the way to put it.
Yeah, it's a nice analysis. Yeah, I mean, Cousins, he's just a little shaky, man. He's hot and cold. When he's hot, he's hot. When he's cold, he's ice cold.
I think he broke the streak last year, though. He finally won a Monday night game.
That was a thing, right? That was a long streak.
He was 0-7 on Monday night, and last year he finally won the game.
Oh my gosh, that's really bad. But
that was a great bet. Vikings on Monday night, fade them.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a stat guy, if you followed that, I mean, you was just following your nose to the money on that one. So I mean, like you said, Cousins on Monday night, he did break the streak, but it's just only one out of however many.
I think he's 1-7 now, I believe. Yeah. That's going back counting the Washington days though too. So.
yeah, he did stink it up in Washington, man. I mean, so Vikings. I mean, we're gonna see. I mean, they're pretty much putting almost the same squad back together. They do need a few pieces. I mean, what are they looking at? What do you guys think they need to get in the draft? I see mixed reviews on who they're picking and what they need. I see them possibly taking a DT or I don't see them taking a corner, maybe a linebacker. What do you guys think? Maybe old lineman.
Yeah, they need defense. I mean, they need depth on defense. And
definitely need that.
I could see them taking a linebacker.
Yeah, I could see
there's a lot of good linebackers too.
Yeah. Because they spent on the defensive backfield in free agency, so if they can add a solid linebacker via the draft, that would be wise.
It would, So Vikings, I mean, we'll see how they shake out. Now Detroit, fellas. So like I said, we just kind of ragged on Jared Goff. So he was, Jared Goff's been a serviceable guy. I'll give him his credit. I mean, he's been in the playoffs for, since he's pretty much been in the league all the years. And, he hasn't led a team. He's been a serviceable guy for a really good squad and a great head coach and Sean McVay and, his offensive genius. So they did make the trade for Jared Goff. They got some picks. They let Matt Stafford go. They did bring in your guy, Jay, from the Raiders, Tyrell Williams. Little bit of an older guy. Yeah.
Big target. Because Goff is not the most accurate, so the larger targets you can give him, the better.
Right, yeah. So, I mean, that kind of helps him out there. They did lose some guys, so they did lose Justin Coleman at cornerback, Marvin Jones at receiver. They went to the Dolphins and Jags. They did bring in Michael Brockers, a nice interior lineman from the Rams.
The backstory with that, which is absolutely hilarious, when the Goff trade happened, he went on social media and said, "Finally, we have a real quarterback in getting Stafford." And got
I remember he went on NFL Network, right?
Yeah,
I remember that because I was watching that. Yeah.
And then now he gets to go right back in the locker room with Goff.
Oh my God! Can you imagine that locker room? Him on TV talking big trash, and now he's back with the guy he's pretty much calling trash himself. So I mean, how you guys feeling about Detroit, man? They've just had it tough for so many years, man. How you guys feeling about that?
You just said it. They had it tough for so many years. Detroit will still be Detroit. Unfortunately.
Damn. It ain't no hope, Jay. Damn.
I mean, they ain't as bad as the Cleveland Browns when the Cleveland Browns were the Cleveland Browns. But
right.
Detroit is pretty rough. They have to make significant moves to for me to even have a conversation about them, saying they'll be all right.
So if you look at volume, if that means anything, they did sign a lot of mediocrity.
Yeah.
Exactly. Mediocre. That's not the next level.
Brashard Perriman, former first-round pick, borderline bust. Alex Anzalone from the Saints, linebacker. I believe he's either first or second-round pick, speedster out of Florida, but not playing up to that level with the Saints. They did add Quentin Dunbar. I guess he beat his case with the Giants guy.
What happened?
They lost money in a card game and went back and tried to rob the people with guns. And
Is this Baker? DeAndre Baker?
Yeah. Quentin Dunbar
God,
was
he's
with
a fucking idiot. Oh my!
Yeah,
Is he still in the league or no?
Yeah, Kansas City signed him at the end of the year, so he's awaiting trial. Man. And Dunbar escaped without getting any charges, so he played last year with the Saints, with Seattle, and signed a 1-year deal with Detroit. And so, solid player. He was drafted as a receiver by Washington. They converted him to cornerback, and he's made a career for himself. I believe he's in his 6th year now.
Yeah, self-made guy.
Yeah, so made a career for himself. But other than that, looking at some of the other signings, just a lot of volume, but a lot of mediocrity from what I'm looking at.
Yeah, and I think they got a new head coach. They made a coaching change. New guy.
New GM. New everything, yeah.
Yeah, new everything. It's just like, Detroit, man. They just got to get it right, man. They've just never been able to put a real consistent, solid squad on the field. Even when, back to the days when they had Calvin Johnson, they had some decent teams, but they just couldn't quite close the show. And those weren't even, great squads. It's more of the Matt Stafford and Calvin Johnson show.
They did sign. They got Randall L. from Tampa. Gave him a nice bump and made them their receivers coach. So
maybe
parlayed his Tampa experience not only with a Super Bowl ring but a hefty pay raise.
Yeah, it could pay off. He's an experienced former NFL wide receiver. He played for many years. I think they're linking them to, possibly a linebacker. They're saying Mitch Parsons. I don't know if Mitch Parsons falls from out of Penn State.
Micah Parsons.
There's no way.
Yeah.
No way. There's no way he falls.
Yeah. I don't think
I could see Micah maybe with the Bears.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. That's what we're talking
about.
I'm like, yeah, they got a lot of good linebackers, so that may be the move.
I think whoever has this the highest draft pick is going to get a guy like that, man. Because he's just an athletic freak,
Yeah, definitely. He ran for 4.3.
Yeah, he's big, fast, strong, explosive. Detroit, like I said, they're in that division, so it's they're facing a juggernaut. They just got to play the Packers, man. I just don't see anybody getting past Green Bay, and which leads us into our next, our next team in the division. Let's chat a little bit about Green Bay. So we all know what happened with Green Bay last year, guys. So, Green Bay, they had a solid season. They made the playoffs. And then ultimately, they had home field advantage. They just couldn't quite close the show. I mean, a lot of people are mad about that flag, though. A lot of people are mad about that flag, and a lot of people are mad. I'm mad. I'm not mad because I'm a Bucs fan, but Jay, I was telling you, I think when we were talking about the game when it happened, Aaron Rodgers should have ran for that touchdown, man. He should have ran for that touchdown, and then it was also a coaching loss because this guy just really showed that he does not know what the hell he's doing. Like, he gave Tom Brady a second chance to go. That defense was playing horrible, for the most part all game. And then you allow Tom Brady to go out and get that first down and close the show. For most part, the Packers have the same squad. They did let their starting center Corey Linsley go. He went to San Diego. LA Chargers. Christian Kirksey, they did let him go. He's with the Texans now. How you guys feeling about Green Bay?
Well,
go ahead, Z. You got it.
No, defending champs, everything comes down to Aaron Rodgers. Their issue is they are capped out. They don't have money to add any free agents because Aaron Rodgers takes up so much of the cap.
He's the team, though.
Well, yeah, and then he's not going to give them any breaks because they drafted his replacement.
Oh, they're doing him so dirty. They are doing him so dirty, man.
And so now they wanted him to. They don't want to commit to him because they already have Jordan Love as his replacement, but they can't cut him because he's the MVP.
No, you definitely can't cut Aaron Rodgers.
That's Aaron Rodgers.
And so they were hoping he would restructure his contract, give them relief this year so they can cut him next year. Man. And they don't want to extend him because they don't want to be tied to him for more than one more year since they already have Jordan Love. So he's refusing to help them, and they are not going to restructure the contract to commit years to Aaron Rodgers because they already have his replacement. So him being the MVP, it's just a unique situation. Yeah. And so they got a team-friendly deal with their running back, and so they're pretty much stuck. So they'll bring this basically the same team back. If Aaron Rodgers would have worked with them and restructuring the contract, kind of like what Tom Brady did or Ben did for the Steelers.
Yeah,
they could have added players, but this is personal now.
Yeah, it is. It's just they don't have that type of relationship. Like if you look at Big Ben, man, for this Pittsburgh Steelers organization, it's a great organization. Like when you think of football, you think about these two organizations, like a Green Bay and Pittsburgh class, A-level organizations. And they just really did Aaron Rodgers dirty, man. Drafting his successor, not giving him another offensive threat opposite the best receiver in the league, in my opinion, and Devontae Adams, who just really scorched the league last year. They just really did themselves a disservice not putting some more offensive weapons. The guy Tunyon, the tight end, I didn't even know about him until last season.
Well, their thought process was Aaron Rodgers would fall off this year so they could cut him and have Jordan Love take over next year.
Yeah, so they could justify it, right?
Yeah, MVP season, though.
MVP season.
He said not yet.
He said, "Oh, y'all gonna run the check back?" Somebody call me double check. You tripping?
Yeah, Green Bay, they got Aaron Rodgers. You know what I mean? They got a decent defense. They didn't show that in the playoffs, though.
Oh, they pew.
So do you think Aaron will do the Tom Brady move?
No.
And find a team to resurrect and take to the Super Bowl?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that would be the smart move.
Because they're going to let him go. They're not going to sign him back. Can they franchise tag him?
Possibly.
Because this is the last year of the deal, but I think he's capped at $35 million this year.
Yeah, and I just don't think that he wants to come back, and I think Green Bay's, just done with him. As crazy as it sounds.
Yeah, they wanted to do the Ben deal where reduce it to $14 million and be able to sign some players, but he said no.
I don't blame him, man. I do
he
not
said
blame
hold
him.
them L's. So my question is, what team does he go to then?
And man, if he goes to a team like
be
Washington,
a team board on Washington that's the first thing.
Oh,
yeah, I can see that.
My gosh, that would be insane.
Yeah,
I would love to see that.
Yeah, I bet you would, being a Washington Redskins fan that you are, or Washington football team. The no name team. But I mean, I can see him going to Washington and doing damage.
Look, how about Chicago?
Oh, that's all I was thinking of.
Oh, a division. Oh my gosh, in the division playing twice a year.
The rival.
Yes, I love it.
I would love.
Go ahead, Aaron. Go ahead, A-Rod. Do your thing, bro. Let's go somewhere. Tom Brady did it. It's okay. You can do it too.
Yeah, man. But I mean, as great as Aaron is, man. I mean, the guy, sometimes he does not play well, man. I mean, some of these playoff games in years past, he just has not. He's had times to close the show. He really has, and I love Aaron. He's probably one of the top 5, quarterbacks in NFL history.
Can you imagine him in New England?
Oh, under Belichick?
I thought about that.
I don't see him going there. I think the whole mystique of going and playing as Tom's successor type, and I just don't see it.
Yeah, I think A-Rod and Tom are too much in the same tier for him to go and try to do that. Because then it's going to be like, oh, you're following someone that's in the same tier as you. So it's like, nah, it's not that. Someone lesser, sure, but nah.
Yeah, I don't see him going to a team like New England. I see him going to a team like a Washington, possibly maybe the Colts. I mean, with this Carson Wentz experiment, I think he's big trash.
Big trash.
Yeah,
not little trash, big trash.
Yeah, big trash, bro. You gotta let him know. But I think he's not gonna do very much.
Would a team like the Raiders consider Rodgers?
I'll
get on that phone.
You making this day now?
Hey, look, I'll get on that phone so quick. Go ahead, run the rumors. Hey, anyone that's listening, start creating fake articles. Throw them anywhere. Start. Do it.
You never.
I'll be with you.
And Jay, you never had season tickets before, but I know for damn sure you have season tickets then.
I had to look at my paychecks and had to carve out a little pretty penny, but
now
it'll be that.
His hometown is San Francisco.
Oh, yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. I can't. That's just too much.
He went to Cal.
That would be interesting too.
Yeah, retire at home. Come back home.
They're drafting a QB though, fellas. I mean, they're taking Mac. Was it Mac Jones, the quarterback from Alabama? Everybody keeps saying it's fake news, it's smoke. Mac Jones is going to the 49ers, man. I mean, just get over it. You know what I mean? It's gonna happen. Huh?
I think it's still gonna be Fields. If Fields drop,
no, Fields is gonna drop, brother. I'm sorry, man. It's the guy from Clemson, the kid from BYU, and then Mac. Yeah, I hate to say it, and I hate seeing it because they stereotype these black quarterbacks as non-pocket presence QBs and all of this stuff, and even the Trey Lances of the world. They kind of classify them guys as that, and then they get, it messes with their draft stock. But I think Justin Fields is solid. I just think he's going to drop just because of the media. And like I said, in NFL Network, ESPN, Mel Kiper, and Todd, these guys get paid, by agents and, these guys to say certain things for their kids' draft stock. So I'm not buying it. I mean, these guys have been wrong for many, many years. But like I said, Justin Fields is a solid quarterback. I hope he's drafted high and he does well. But yeah, like I said, as for Green Bay, I mean, they're going to be in the mix of things. I mean, I think you got Bucks. I think you got Rams, and I think you got Green Bay on the NFC side. That's just my take. I guess moving on. Let's chat a little bit let's move on and talk about NBA, fellas. So, Jay, me and you went and made the trip out to Philly, man. And we got to see got to see the MVP, in my opinion, Embiid, and you can elaborate on. They was chanting his name, baby, Embiid, MVP, all of this. You know what I mean? This and that. He's just that for what he's doing for that city is incredible. Just the hard-nosed, tough, and gritty city that it is. How are you guys feeling about the 76ers? What do you guys think it's going to take for them to really? I think they can compete in the East, but I guess to make that next step.
I think they need like another solidified bona fide shooter, in my opinion, especially after what we saw last night. Yeah, after Joel went out and Ben went out, they almost lost that game to
they did. It's
Brooklyn Nets squad with Kyrie. That's it.
They did. Yeah.
So that I think they may need. I mean, I think they do have a deep roster for sure.
They have a tendency of just taking whole sections of the game off and not even trying on defense. I mean, it's just
and they have a lot of defensive players, good defensive players. They're like Shake. You got Shake. Of course, you got Ben. Of course, you got B. Harris actually looked pretty good defensively last night.
Did,
I mean, it's against Brooklyn, so I mean, I get it, but at the same time, to me, Harris has always been not a terrible defender. He's just been an all right defender. He's there to get your buckets though. So that's pretty rough. And it may excuse me, you all, whoever's listening, as far as like Rome just said, we were traveling. And I'm back on that side as well, so I did not have my mic. So I'm just making do what I can, So I just want to go ahead and throw
let it be known.
Hey, look, I just want to let them know, all right? It's not the audio team. It's not. I'm telling you. I promise you. It's not.
Go ahead, Z.
Yeah, I mean, Sixers. Their competition is going to be the Bucks. I just don't see how they can match up with.
Greek Freak.
With the Bucks, yeah. Defensively, the Sixers are probably the best defensive team in the East.
Yeah, they are.
Their issue again is, it's depth, but come playoff time in the half court, they are going to be able to defend against any of the top teams.
Oh yeah, they're so lengthy, man. Yeah, like you said. I mean, in my opinion. Yeah, a good analysis, man. And in my opinion, like I said, and Jay, from us watching the game yesterday, man, and just seeing Embiid, I've never seen Joel Embiid up close in person and see him play live. He is a animal. You cannot do nothing with him. I mean, he drop steps, he pump fakes, he gets to the foul line. When you foul him, he makes all his free throws. He doesn't leave no change on the table. He's he's good on the block. And like I said, I mean, I'll elaborate on it.
Shoots threes.
Yeah, he shoots threes. You know what I mean? And he's funny. You know what I mean? The city loves the guy. I mean, he scored pretty much close to 40 points in 3 quarters. He didn't even, come out really for the fourth quarter until like late in the game. Me and Jay were sitting in the stands watching. I think he was a little banged up. I think ultimately he did go back to the locker room for a little bit. I don't know what happened, but even though they did get the win, I think with the Sixers being in the Eastern Conference, they, like you said, I think they have enough for the Bucks. I just don't, like I said, I just think that
their bench is not, I don't think, up to par. So they could have problems during stretches when they have to rely on the bench. I mean,
right, when they go to rest, right?
Yeah. I mean, Korkmaz can shoot, and so he could provide some scoring off the bench.
Shake Milton?
Yeah, Shake Milton's instant offense. But other than that, I mean, the rest of them, it could be a problem. Because that's how Brooklyn came back in the game. They literally had to bring Embiid and Simmons back in the game in the fourth quarter.
Right. And Tobias, yeah. Yeah,
because the lead was just getting completely... I mean, they were up 20, and at one point in the fourth quarter, I think they were up by... They cut it to 6. It was the closest they cut it to. I couldn't believe they came back.
Yeah, it was a...
Without any of their big guns playing. Kyrie, like you said, Kyrie versus Sixers.
Yeah, Kyrie
that
versus...
was really it.
Yeah,
he was carrying. Me and Roman sat there and absolutely washed. So... Yeah, I don't know. Alizé looking nice out there towards the end of the game.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Sixers, I think they got enough, man. Like I said, when they go to the bench, that's going to be the key. When Embiid goes down and takes a rest, because he's the vocal point of the offense, man. Me and Jay saw it. I mean, the pick and roll, the isolation, him hitting the pump fake on DeAndre Jordan and ultimately banging on his head. I mean, he's a problem. To me, he's the MVP. I just think they have enough for the Bucks, but do they have enough for the Nets? The Nets, I mean, in the playoffs, perfect case scenario, and we're going to chime. The guys didn't play yesterday. Harden, was hurt. KD was out due to rest, and we're going to chat a little bit about that. What's going to happen when all of these guys come to play? I just think the Nets just have a lot of firepower, and Embiid's really going to have to put up 40 plus a game to get a win, which I think he can do, but is it sustainable in a 7-game series? That's the thing, because the Nets really don't have a guy. And then we ultimately saw today, we're recording a pod on Thursday, April 15th, that LaMarcus Aldridge just retired. So that's a big guy that's taken off the Nets roster. So they got a shot at it. I mean, we'll see what happens. Anything else you guys wanted to chime in on this topic with the Sixers, fellas?
I still think they're better than the Bucks.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think they're better than the Bucks. I think Bucks is their competition. Like, that's the tier they're in. I think Nets is the only team that's kind of like in that upper tier from the East, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Then everyone else is kind of a step lower. But I mean, anything can happen in the playoffs, so we'll see.
Yeah, Nets, their defense is lacking, so that's going to be the key, because playoff time, it's going to be a half-court game. Mm-hmm. Defense is going to be supreme. You got to play defense, and I don't know if the Nets can buckle down, lock down, and play a good 5-6 minute stretch of just lockdown defense. I haven't seen it yet. And
rebound. I mean, I think the biggest thing for the Nets is they allow a lot of second shot opportunities. If you remember when they were playing those guys where they were playing their actual lineup, when they had Kyrie at the point or Harden, whoever at the two guards, and then they had whoever at small forward, then they had KD at power forward and DeAndre Jordan at center. If KD's playing that power forward spot, he has to do a better job of boxing out. He's really not, he has to help out on the offensive and defensive glass and get those rebounds. I think what's really going to hurt them is LaMarcus Aldridge, because if he didn't retire, their lineup would have been Kyrie, James Harden. They could have had KD at the small forward and then Aldridge and then maybe DeAndre Jordan, or you could have had Kyrie, Harden, Joe Harris, KD, and Aldridge. But with him retiring, I mean, we're going to see what the lineup is.
They're back to being a small team, because they're back to playing Blake at center. Mm-hmm. Other than, DeAndre Jordan exposed himself last night against Embiid. He cannot. Oh, yeah. He was getting bullied.
Oh my gosh, that's an understatement. He was getting, I don't even know what the words to describe it. Like, he just couldn't do anything. He was slow. He was sloppy. He was horrible in pick and roll basketball. It was all around bad.
They were down bad.
Yeah,
DeAndre Jordan. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, it was a bad game for the big guy. But, I mean, it was, brother. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, man.
Lob City all day, but, you got to play some defense too, baby. It's the NBA. But
I do like Claxton, though. Claxton.
Oh, yeah.
I like Claxton.
He's athletic, and he can play some defense.
Yeah.
I was telling Rome about that at the beginning of the game. I said if they start playing him more, they may be all right, have a defensive presence.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Hey, Jay, what do you think about your guy, Alizé Johnson, bro?
Oh, his name is Alizé, right? Give Alizé more time, right?
Yeah, man, bro. Me and Jay went to the game. I did not know who the hell this guy was. This is a guy named Alizé Johnson. You know what I mean? Like, who names their kid Alizé? I can't. I'm a parent myself, but I'm not naming my damn kid Alizé. Maybe it's maybe they don't view it that way, but that's just the way I view it. That's just my take on it. But
well,
let's move on, fellas.
It is unique.
It is.
One of one, probably.
Oh, he's one of a kind. He was, in the classroom when they called Alizé Johnson, he knew his name. But let's chat a little bit about these guys sitting out due to rest. So, like I said, me, Jay, saw it firsthand. We went to go see the game yesterday. We're thinking that, at least KD and Kyrie are going to play, right? We already got the tickets beforehand. These guys decide, KD decides he's going to sit out. Blake Griffin decides he's going to sit out. LaMarcus Aldridge, I guess we see what happened. He's retiring today. He was out. All these guys, and the Kawhis, and LeBron's hurt. Sometimes he does. All these guys sitting out due to rest. How are you guys feeling about it?
It's a sign of the times. It's due to the condensed schedule. I mean, trying to squeeze all these games in such a short period of time, you can't blame the players for trying to find spots to take care of themselves to prepare for the playoffs. And then now, even with teams 8 to 10, with the play-in playoff format to get it and get that 8th seed, that's additional games. I mean, you saw the Mavericks complaining about that because there's no need. They're basically saying if we finish 8, we should be in. So not only are you condensing the season and having so many back-to-back games, they're also expecting them to play more at playoff time when things get more intense. And so that's, you can't, from that perspective, you can't knock the players just because this season is just unique.
My thought, but the thing is, with my take on it, these guys were doing this even before COVID. LeBron was doing it a lot. Kawhi was doing it a hell of a lot. I didn't see so much Giannis and some of the other guys, but I mean, I get it. I mean, you got to protect yourself, the investment, and all of these things. But ultimately, this is entertainment. They got to entertain the fans. What about a guy that's, a gentleman that has a kid, and his favorite player is Kevin Durant, and he's living in Philadelphia, and his kid, they penciled, this game on their schedule, and they want to take their kid to go see their favorite player, their idol, some of these kids. And they don't play. He's sitting on the bench, and, the kid's mad and upset, and the dad, there's nothing he can do. He spent all his money. You might have spent $400, $500, $600. He might have went heavy on it and got $1,000 courtside seats to watch Kevin Durant sit on the bench. I just think these guys really need to be fined, and the league has to do something about it. Like, if you're healthy enough to play, you got to play, man.
Last year they had set up, if they missed national TV games, they would fine the team $50,000. So I think it was $50,000 for the players and $100,000 for the team.
Man, they need to make that. They need to make that go up.
So the billionaire owner gets $100,000 fine.
Yeah, that's nothing. That's like $1. Well, I mean, a quarter to some people, a penny. I mean, it's crazy. But my biggest thing is, like I said, I don't have a
versus resting your guys to prepare for the playoffs. Yeah, of course, every owner is going to be. He'll skip those games.
Yeah, I mean, I just think has to be some type of control over it, though. I mean, like I said, I'm not in this situation. When we went to the game, I wasn't that mad that guys was out. I've already seen KD play. I've already seen some of these other guys play. But like, what about for a guy who's penny pinching, who's saved all year long to take his kid to the game, and they live in Philly, and they're really having tough times, but he's doing what he can to see his kid, see these players play. I just don't think it's right. I don't see and Z, you could probably tell me, I didn't watch a lot of basketball back in the 80s and early 90s. Like, were those guys doing that then?
No. I mean, Jordan played I think,
and that's why he's the best.
Injured, he played 82 out of 82 games a majority of his career. Played every game. And I remember his quote saying that
these guys are soft, man. They piss me off.
There's always somebody in the crowd who's seeing me for the first time. So I'm going to give him a show and leave a memory with him forever.
And he sure did.
That was Jordan's attitude for all the games.
Yeah, and I just hate a lot of these dudes. They say, oh, Kobe was my idol. Man, Kobe ain't your fucking idol. Kobe ain't sitting on the fucking bench due to rest, big guy. Kobe is out there balling and banging on you. You feel me? He plays both sides of the floor. A lot of these guys, how are you going to sit out due to rest and you don't even play both sides of the floor? You know what I mean? I could see if you was an offensive and defensive threat, and you out there, giving it your all on both ends. Maybe like a guy like, Ben Simmons, Ben Simmons is not an offensive threat, but he tries. He's more of a different, he's a different type of player, but he's really aggressive. He reminds me, he's like a Mamba mentality type of guy. But a lot of these other dudes, they scream Mamba mentality at the top of their lungs, and you're not built like that. That's what just pisses me off.
That's true.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, bro. Like, this Kobe's my guy. Like, no, man. Like, Kobe ain't your guy. Kobe would go out there and ball.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Kobe yell at you, embarrass you.
Yeah.
Talk all the shit in the world and ball on you.
Yeah, it's Kobe, KG. But the NBA is different today. These guys
it's a different era. It's analytics. The simplest way to... Like, even with the style of play, 3 is better than 2. So it's better to shoot 53s versus a 2-point shot, which is the worst shot considered in basketball nowadays.
Yeah.
And, people will come down on the fast break, not even try to get the layup, kick it out for a 3.
It happens all the time.
I think that's insane.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. We'll see. But let's move on, fellas. Let's go close the show out with the bets, man. So... what are you guys looking at betting wise for the next few days?
Well, so looking at the weekend. Go ahead. Let me see.
Yeah, I'll start off. So, I'll look at, let's see, tomorrow night's schedule. So, Friday night, the 16th, not a ton of action. There was not really a ton of games that I love. And like I said, guys, on all my shows, you got to start looking at these, you got to start looking at who's playing and who's not. Kawhi, a few nights ago, he was penciled in and confirmed to start, and his ass just didn't come out to play. I think that was the game where Paul George and Markieff Morris went off a few nights ago, and they won. But, tomorrow night, I'm looking at the Clippers and 76ers. It's a solid game. Depending on who plays, it's all about who plays now. I do like the Nets versus the Hornets, though. I think maybe KD will be back. They'll be back in Brooklyn. Kyrie should be playing. Blake Griffin should be playing against a Hornets squad who's, decent. They should have enough offensive firepower and enough defensive, play to seal the deal there. So I like that game. A game that I do love on that same night, tomorrow, Friday, the 16th, is the Trailblazers versus the Spurs. So keep an eye on that. If CJ and Dame are confirmed, I like laying a pretty decent amount of money on that game, man. Depending on how your bankroll is, I see that, going straight money line on that game, or maybe parlaying that with another game. I like that along with the Mavericks versus the Knicks. Mavericks Mavericks and Knicks should be a toss-up. So you could really go either way on that, but I would probably take Mavs. What are you guys looking at?
You want to go first?
So from my perspective, I'm on the fade the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Oh, they suck, yeah.
My God.
Right.
You know who they're playing.
Bro.
Detroit basketball.
So I am on the Detroit train.
Yes, sir. Welcome, Z.
Yes.
Welcome.
So I will be rolling with the Pistons.
Oh, shit, I can't.
I see what you did there. Rolling with the Pistons. That's clever. I like that. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, blowing right through the Thunder. On that game is on Friday night. And then that's my main focus. I am really leaning on fading the Thunder and then fading the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Yeah, they suck.
And so that's
solid. That's solid.
And so the Heat play the Timberwolves. So
gotcha.
Those Heat play the Timberwolves on Friday as well. So those are my two bets for Fridays. Go against Oklahoma City and go against Minnesota. So I'm riding with the Heat, the Pistons.
I got a few.
And it matches because the Pistons are hot with the Heat while they're moving real fast. And there you go.
I'm loving it. Man, you know what? We got get Z talking about the Pistons a little bit more often. I'm liking this energy.
Oh my God! Please do not bother this
I'm
man over this damn
energy,
shitty Pistons.
Oh man! All right, let me go ahead and knock out my picks real quick.
What you got, bro?
Just straight. I'll take Utah over Pacers. I don't have any faith in the Wizards at all. They put in numbers, but they don't close. I have Pelicans taking them down as well. I also like my sneaky games. Well, no, Portland. I like Portland over Spurs, straight bet. Now, spread bets are a little dicey, right? I'm going to say if the Denver and Houston is the spread is by double digits, I would take the spread.
Ooh, man.
Yeah, that's my risky one, and it's going to be with the Houston.
At least Christian Wood's back. Christian Wood's back, so that
yes. Yeah, and of course, last but not least, Detroit basketball. Yes. Over Thunder, yes.
Yeah, man.
That'll be it for me.
Yeah, I mean, we got the betting guys listening, man. I mean, I'm in a few betting chats. I'll be hearing it from them. They like our Bucks bets. Hey, guys, I'm gonna give you a Bucks bet right now, man. Bucks bet on Saturday, April 17th. Spread should be crazy, man. Bucks versus the Grizzlies. Bucks at home. Look for everybody to play. Giannis plays, I like it. If he doesn't play, I don't like it. Spread should be nothing crazy. Look at it, man. I mean, line it up.
Greasy Grizzlies, they cover spreads.
They might cover spreads. Like I said, I do money line. You know what I mean? They know I get that. I do straight money line. I'll do it. I'll do spreads if I'm doing like a little small chump change parlay. You throw $10 on it and see what happens. $20 is on it. See where it lands. But I'm talking about like big money. I do like the Bucks money line that night against the Grizzlies. So we'll see what happens. But great show, fellas. As always, everybody continue to support the show by subscribing to all our shows. Continue to support the YouTube page. I see the comments. We're probably going to be inviting some of you guys on the show soon. So we see the comments stacking up. We see you guys listening in, the views, the likes on the YouTube page. We're probably going to have a guest on the show pretty soon. Really good guy. He's going to talk some football with us. So continue to keep looking out for us, and we'll see you next show. Take it easy.